Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is Steven, and today I'm going to tell you my list of 10 habits that will make you a good apprentice electrician. Alright, well, hey you guys, when I was preparing for this video and putting together my list of top 10 habits, I decided that I wanted to have a broader perspective than just my own. And so what I actually did is I sent out a survey to multiple different journeymen here in my local union, and they responded to me with what they also thought were the most important traits of a good apprentice electrician. And so what I did is I combined those lists and I basically picked what seemed like the top 10 from that list. So anyways, without further ado, and in no particular order, let's get into this. All right, you guys, so habit number 1 is to ask questions. You guys, as an apprentice, you are not expected to understand the way that everything works yet. In fact, you are expected to ask questions because it's how you're going to learn how to do your job, right? And let me just say, we have a really dangerous career. And the last thing that you want to be doing is working with electricity and potentially wiring something up in a way that you don't understand and possibly hurting yourself, hurting somebody else, or even maybe just costing the company that you work for a ton of money because then you have to go back and fix something or a piece of equipment blows up. I mean, working with electricity, things can escalate very quickly. So if you don't understand how something works, even if it makes you feel stupid, ask questions. All right, now habit number 2 goes hand in hand with asking questions, and that is to write things down. Now, a good apprentice will always have something to write with and a notepad, and that's because there are a lot of things that you're going to need to remember in this trade. If there's one way to annoy your journeyman, foreman, whoever in a hurry, that's going to be by asking them the same thing over and over and over again. So the first time they tell you something, to go get some material, to remember a measurement, to get something done, just write it down right away. You're going to save yourself some potential embarrassment if you forget what it is that they asked, and you're going to make them feel confident in your abilities when you always remember what they say because you're writing it down. So as a good apprentice, write things down. All right, now the third habit of a good apprentice, which may seem surprising to some of you guys, is to stay off your phone. Okay, believe it or not, for some apprentices, this is actually a really big deal. I have actually seen apprentices be transferred away onto other jobs or maybe even let go because they're just on their phones too much. And let me tell you, you might think that, oh, nobody's watching right now. I can just take out my phone for a minute and respond to this message. Or maybe you're just checking on your phone real quickly, just glancing at it throughout the day. Well, people notice that, and with a lot of journeymen or foremen, that can be a really big pet peeve of theirs. So if you want to do a good job and seem like a good apprentice to your boss, just don't take out your phone and focus on your job. I guess I should say there are going to be some cases when you need to use your phone. If you're using the calculator to do some calculations, or if you're responding to a text from your journeyman or foreman. But other than when you absolutely need it for a work-related task, don't use it. So the fourth habit of a good apprentice electrician is to be reliable. You guys, before I got into this trade, I was actually a store manager at an AT&T store. And one of the most important habits that I looked for in my employees was reliability. Okay, I wanted to make sure that I could count on my employees to show up to work on time every single day and that they weren't calling in sick all the time. And because of that, when they would call in sick, well, I could trust that they were actually sick and they weren't just trying to get out of work. So be reliable. One of the best ways that you can do that is to be on time and to show up to work every single day unless you're taking a vacation or you have a good excuse not to be there. There's a saying that goes around that I've heard many times, and that is, if you are early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, you better still show up. All right, here's the fifth habit of a good apprentice electrician, and this is actually one of my favorites, and that is anticipating the needs of your journeyman. Now, when you're first getting into the trade, you're not going to know exactly what it is that your journeyman is going to need when they're working on a project. But as you kind of start to get the hang of how things work and what material they use and what tools they use for specific jobs, well, then you're going to be able to anticipate what he or she is going to need next. And you're going to look like a rock star apprentice if you are ready as soon as your journeyman is going to need a tool, or they're going to need some MC or pipe or coupling or connector or whatever it is. If you're standing there ready to go, ready to hand them what they need before they actually need it, you are going to look like a really good apprentice, and they're going to want to keep you around. And the next habit of a good apprentice electrician is to smash that like button. Well, not really, but you can if you want. All right, now habit number 6 is to move with purpose. Like I said, this is a dangerous career, right? And we don't want to be rushing to get things done. One, because you or somebody else could get hurt, and then 2, because we want to do quality work, right? But the flip side is also true. We don't want to be taking forever, unnecessarily long on a task, because your journeyman or your foreman, they're going to notice that, and it's going to really start to bother them after a while. So if you're asked to go get some material, go straight to the lay down, get your material, know where it's at, and then get right back to them and give them what they need. If you're going to go to the restroom, don't be in there for 10, 20, 30, even 40 minutes. You guys, I sound like I'm exaggerating, but I'm not. I have worked with multiple different apprentices where they would literally be in the bathroom for like 30 minutes when they would go to the bathroom, and then they would come back to the construction site on their phone, just kind of acting like it was no big deal. And let me tell you, both of those apprentices got sent somewhere else, and it's not a good look. So move with purpose, get the job done. All right, now habit number 7, this is such an important one, and this is to have a good attitude. When I was compiling this list and multiple different journeymen were, telling me what they thought was important in a good apprentice, this is probably the number one thing that they said, is to have a good attitude. So when you're showing up to work, remember that this is an incredible opportunity that you have. You should be so grateful to have such a fantastic career, and your attitude should reflect that. When you show up to work and you have a good attitude, it's going to be contagious, and people are going to like working around you, and then you're just going to have a better time when you're at work. The flip side is, if you have a bad attitude, well, nobody likes working with Mr. Negativity. Nobody wants to work with a guy that would just rather be somewhere else doing absolutely anything else. So have a good attitude, and people are really going to enjoy working around you. All right, you guys, we are getting really close to the end of this list here. We are at habit number 8, and that is your efforts. Okay, now if there's one thing that separates a good apprentice from a bad apprentice, that is how much effort they put in to trying to learn how to do their job and do it well. There's something that you need to remember, is that while you are only an apprentice right now, someday you're going to be the journeyman, and you're going to not only need to know how to do your job for yourself, but you're going to have to understand things well enough to be able to teach them to somebody else. So put in the effort right now. If you don't understand a certain concept or how to do something, there's 1.5 million different ways to learn how to do things. When you get home from work, go on YouTube, watch different videos on how to learn what it is that you don't understand. Open up your code book, read a book. It doesn't matter. Just put in the effort, and you will thank yourself later on, and your boss is definitely going to notice when you are working really hard and putting in the effort to do a good job at your job. All right, guys, we are at habit number 9, and that is to be teachable. This is such an important habit to have, but it is also a very difficult thing to do and to be. Like I said before, I was a store manager, and when I started this career as an apprentice electrician, it was really difficult for me, because I went from being the expert at my craft, being able to teach everybody the ins and outs of their job and being the guy that had all the answers to the questions, to all of a sudden not knowing how to do anything. Okay, I wasn't in construction at all before I started this career, and it was very, very humbling to go from feeling like I was the expert to, man, I just don't know anything at all. But you need to be able to humble yourself. You need to be able to be teachable, and you just need to be willing to learn. Okay, and you need to understand that it is going to take time to get good at this career. There's a reason why an apprenticeship is 4 to 5 years. So humble yourself, be teachable, and your journeyman and your foreman will really appreciate it. All right, you guys, we are at habit number 10, and that is to take initiative. Taking initiative is such an important thing to do as an apprentice, and it is such an easy way to be noticed by your journeyman or your foreman or project manager or whoever. And it's unfortunately something that many apprentices do not do. Okay, what I mean when I say take initiative, I mean if you see something that needs to be done, just get it done without even being asked. As an apprentice, the way that I see it is your job is to make your journeyman's life easier. Okay, and if you can get something done that needs to be done, if you can clean something up, get a small task done, calculate something, bend something, pull some wire, whatever it is that needs to be done before your journeyman even has a chance to ask you, well, as soon as they realize that that needs to be done or that you already did that, man, you are really going to stand out, and they are going to see you not only as a helper, but also as a leader. And I think that they will consider you to eventually become a leadership figure, maybe a foreman eventually. So showing initiative, it's a great way to stand out. It's a very important thing to do, and it is probably the best habit that you can have as an apprentice electrician. So there you have it, you guys. There's my list of 10 habits that make a good apprentice electrician. If you have found value in this video today and you haven't already subscribed to my channel, would you please just consider hitting that subscribe button and hitting the notification bell, because I'm committed to putting out quality content for you, and my plan is to put out a video once every 1 or 2 weeks. So stay up to date with that. I'd really appreciate it. And definitely share this video if you have an apprentice that you just want them to get some of these habits instilled in them. And then last but not least, if you have Instagram and you want to keep up with me on my day-to-day life as a sustaining electrician at a hospital, follow my electrician account at Mad Electrician Official. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you guys. Have a good one.